Daniel Thrasher is a YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers, and trust me when I tell you, he is one of the most unique people we have ever spoken to.
From creating simple YouTube videos out of a passion with just his piano that consistently went viral over and over again, to now having a full-on team working on his million-dollar empire, making masterfully produced skits on YouTube about some of the most odd things you'll ever see, it's safe to say that Daniel is one of a kind. Well, in this video, we get an exclusive look into Daniel's extremely unique growth strategies, his unbelievable attention to detail, and some other really unique aspects that you wouldn't believe. So if you're interested in this and you want more content exactly like it, make sure to subscribe because we post a brand new episode every single Sunday. So we'd love to have you a part of it. And now let's start the podcast.
So far, this podcast has made $2,468,900,070.
Very close. The farthest actually we've ever gotten. Yeah. So you get an award for that.
Yeah, well, $260,138, I think is what it is.
Wow, my legit guess would have been like $1 million.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's ad revenue.
Just ad revenue?
Just ad revenue.
Yeah, just ad revenue.
Oh, that doesn't include sponsors on this.
No, we keep it. We've kept it ad revenue from the very beginning, so it's consistent because that's how we started.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, tomato.
Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I've watched your videos for a few years now. I've really enjoyed them.
Jeez.
Because you're one of the first people, at least as far as what I'm aware, creating kind of skits around music and taking the music element into comedy at an angle that really not many people have done before, have they?
Yeah, I mean, like, Seth Everman sort of kickstarted this like meme-ified piano playing thing, but I didn't notice anybody playing multiple characters around an instrument, and that's sort of the gap I wanted to fill. Like, I wanted to make sketch comedy for a long time. Like, I was stuck at 50K on YouTube for a while, doing really elementary level like sketch comedy with my friends, but everybody kept commenting like, play more piano. And once I combined those two things, what I wanted to do with what they wanted me to do, that's when like something really cool happened.
So tell us your background. You go to college, were you always really good at the piano? How did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, like whenever I would pass a piano store, which exists, I guess, like I would have to play every single piano I saw because I needed to know how they sounded. And my parents saw that and gave me a keyboard, a little Casio keyboard when I was 7. And so I've been obsessed ever since, pretty much.
Were you self-taught?
Yeah. I mean, I took piano lessons for maybe 2 years. Then in middle school, I played in like the jazz band, which was fun. My sister begrudgingly would wake up. She was in high school and I was in middle school, and my school started before hers. So she would have to wake up and like get me to school before school even started so the jazz band could practice.
They always do it so early. It always starts at like 7 o'clock in the morning,
it was
right?
like 6 or something.
Oh, geez.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And, shout out to Jennifer for letting me do that. But mostly self-taught. Back then, I also played bagpipes competitively, which was
Are you serious?
Yeah, very weird.
Competitively?
Competitive pipes. Insert photo. Yeah.
How does that happen? How do you pick the bagpipes as a kid? It's like, I want to play that.
Well, I didn't just like one day be like, it'd be nice. It's my middle school, Dunedin Middle School in Florida. Dunedin, Florida is like the sister city to Scotland is what they say. I don't know if there's a Dunedin in Scotland or if, I don't know. But we had pipes as an option. And so I played bagpipes under Mr. Sandy Keith, who was my angry Scottish piping instructor who called me a ninny far too frequently. And like the word ninny really is an insult from a Scotsman.
What does it mean?
Like idiot.
Ninny?
I think so.
Is it offensive if you call someone a ninny?
I don't think it's offensive in like, you can get canceled for it kind of a thing. But I think it's offensive in terms of like, just when someone sincerely calls you a ninny and you're 14, like it's probably not.
Just wait
best.
10 years. 10 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, he said the word ninny.
He said
canceled.
Yeah.
It's acceptable now. Just wait.
Yeah. And everything comes out in the wash.
So you had friends that played bagpipes?
Yeah,
or your parents
like a group.
played bagpipes? It was a group.
It was like the middle school
group.
Yeah, man. Like we all wore kilts and went out and
You wore
competed.
kilts?
Of course.
Wow. Did you get bullied as a kid? Or were you okay?
Not enough, I don't think. Like, if I got bullied just a little bit more, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast.
Got it.
No, I was always the class clown. So I think I was able to get away with a lot.
Did you know I played tuba?
No,
Yeah.
that makes sense though.
Yes, from 6th grade through I think 11th grade, I played the tuba.
Really?
Yeah.
You give me tuba vibes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked the biggest, loudest instrument I could in middle school.
Did you do marching band at all?
No.
So you never got around to the sousaphone?
No. I had no interest in doing that because I think practice started around like 6 a.m., 6:30. Like it was really early.
It's awful,
But I also
man.
did the jazz band, but the jazz band was, I think, after school. So it started at like 3:30 or 4.
So you could have theoretically been there from
6 o'clock to
until
like 5.
5.
It's
Horrible.
11 hours of school and music. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but not enough to pursue it. Yeah.
What other hobbies did you have at that time in your life?
Gosh, drums. Really like
You play
drums.
drums?
Yeah. I actually
so
did drums in the jazz band from 7th grade through, I don't know, 9th grade, something like that.
That's sick.
And
Jazz drums
yeah.
is hard.
Yeah, it's fun.
Can you still do it?
No. I forgot.
that
I
up.
forgot.
I thought you
So
played
much.
drums all the time, though.
No, I play every now and then, but I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be in high school.
You went from the bagpipes into playing piano.
Yeah,
right?
I always played piano, but I played bagpipes and piano, and at the same time, I think I was a drummer in a church band, and so I was just constantly, wanting to jam, I guess, with people. But piano, I was always pretty good at it, and very competitive, and so I would whenever I would see another kid in jazz band walk up on the piano, I'd be like, let me show you, and then I'll try to do something fancier. What's interesting is I never, so I ended up going to a performing arts high school. So I went to a high school for musical theater, which was great, and then after that I went to SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, for performing arts, but I started as a film major at SCAD because I, made videos in middle school for English assignments, and I really liked it. And I thought I wanted to be a director. But that was way too much paperwork. Apparently directors have to do a lot of paperwork and permits and licenses and, renting vans and stuff. I hate that. But now that I'm older, I realize that's a producer's job. But anyway, it's a lot of paperwork. So I went back into performing arts in college, and I wanted to build on top of a skill set that I already had.
Yeah.
And by performing arts, I mean acting and being creative versus piano. People think I majored in piano in college. I didn't. I'm an actor first, which is weird. Or I have the most training in acting. Piano just sort of was the way, the tool that I could use that would reach the most eyeballs to help me tell jokes with.
What did you do right after college?
Right after college,
work a job?
So I majored in performing arts. I was lucky enough to be selected for the SCAD showcase. So they took me to LA, New York, and Atlanta to do scenes in front of agencies and management and stuff like that. And my manager found me in LA and wanted to sign me immediately. And she represents Nathan Kress, Freddie from iCarly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so he's in a couple of videos of mine for that reason.
Way.
Yeah. And so, and I grew up watching him and had a big crush on Miranda Cosgrove. And I was like, yeah, I want this one. Yeah, I want I was lucky enough to be offered management in all 3 cities. But LA just made the most sense. I'm from Florida boy. I love palm trees and stuff, So, LA was the move. So I was signed in LA. If I wasn't signed in LA, I actually had a job lined up in Korea.
Really?
I was going to be one of 13 people in the world hired for this thing called English Village. So basically, in South Korea, there is a little town modeled after colonial Virginia, where it's just a bunch of white people, because foreigners are rare-ish out there, that all speak English. And so essentially I would be a musical theater Dora the Explorer for Korean kids. I'd be like, what color is the backpack?
No. Red.
Red, that's right. Yeah, that would have been my gig. It was a 2-year contract that I almost signed. And as an actor, getting a job fresh out of college is rare.
Yeah.
An acting job of any kind is rare. And I was offered this 2-year contract. That's crazy, So
Was the pay good?
for theater, I mean, it was fine. I would have had housing accommodation. I think it would have been $30 grand a year or something. Maybe. I could be wrong. Sorry if I'm giving away too much info. I don't even know if the company's alive anymore. But Yeah, I mean that plus like, weeks of paid vacation, weeks of sick leave, like you travel all around Asia. Like that would have been a great gig fresh out of college, like young, bright-eyed actor. Like that would have been great. But then I got signed in LA and I was like, I'm gonna do LA. And it sucked for a couple years in LA. Like I worked in I worked in ice cream shops, coffee shop jobs, restaurants, stuff like that. And I kept auditioning and I kept getting really close to stuff and I wouldn't get it. And then I would, so.
Could you tell us something you got really close to? Is there anything that we would know?
Yeah.
Like you got passed up and then like Daniel Radcliffe got it instead.
The Boys.
No way.
Yeah, for the lead guy.
What's that?
Wasn't that like a recent thing?
Relatively recent. I mean, what's
What
his
is
name?
that?
Something Quaid. The
That
Boys
was
on
the-
Amazon.
That was the thing Michael Reeves made the baby video for.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that
really?
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who loses his girlfriend in the first episode. I had to like do that scene at the audition, but I made it to the producer level.
So did you cry and whatnot?
Tried to. Yeah, but yeah, in the tape I did, and then I think I had 3 auditions for that, and then no, I mean I've gotten close for a lot. I mean like I'm really close right now to something that if I don't get it, I'll be surprised, but I can't talk about it.
Is it big?
It's very big, but it would be cool if it happens, and if it doesn't happen, that's cool too. I know they're watching my every move, so I'm being very vague, and
We're gonna make you look good.
don't worry about it. It's all good.
It's okay.
Please don't see this
Yeah.
and
So
freak
you're
out. I'm not going public about it.
You're still trying to do the acting thing, like mainstream
I
acting.
mean, you know what's weird is like I don't need to, right? Like I make enough money and I'm recognized on the street and stuff, and like this is gonna sound really hokey, but it's true. It's real. Every like birthday I've had, every 11/11 I've ever seen, every like little dandelion that I blow on or eyelash that you wish on, ever since I was 16, I watched this video from this guy. Maybe you know him. He's the bald guy, bright blue eyes. I think his name is Stephen James or no. Is that his name?
Yeah, this Project Life Mastery.
Project Life Mastery.
Yeah.
Shout out Project Life Mastery.
Yeah.
I watched this video when I was younger that he said like your life should have a mission statement behind it. Like you should have a mission statement for your life distilled into one sentence, like what you really want to do while you're alive. And I found it years ago. And that sentence was, in my life, I want to inspire and entertain millions of people to lead better lives for themselves and for others. And that's it. That's the sentence. And that's my wish at 11/11 and all this stuff. Again, really hokey, whatever. But, I just want to have a good impact. And so I thought that meant, I would have to be on a TV show or I'd have to be Dora the Explorer in Korea, or like whatever.
Yeah.
But turns out I get to do that. And based on all the DMs I see on my Instagram, and I'm sure you get the same thing, where you're turning people's lives around financially and, I'm like inspiring people to pick up the piano or like if they have a hard day, they're watching my content. Like I now no longer feel the need that it has to come through as an acting job on like FX or Fox, like for me, it's now like I'm living it now. There are just like little itches I kind of want to scratch now. So like
Sure.
if I do get this mainstream thing, then that sort of scratches that itch and it will help me connect with people to entertain even more. Like it'll be like a different, expression of that. And so that's great because I sincerely want to keep doing what I'm doing. And I think spreading out and like touching all, platforms, like even on a micro scale, like, I've only been doing YouTube for so long, but now I'm like picking up numbers on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So, to reach over to like mainstream TV or film, would just be another expression of like, I don't need it, but it'd be cool.
Tell us about your career on YouTube and how you began to grow that.
Jeez. Okay. Well, created it when I was 13, January 6th, 2007, I think is the date. 29 now. So I've been on there for a while. I was able to quit my day job as a coffee shop guy on February 26th, 2019. So it took a long time for me to figure out what I was doing. How it took off was I had a video called How I Accidentally Wrote the Office Theme Song.
I remember that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I think everybody saw that.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
video. It's like 25 million views now, right?
Is it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
something crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was a big thing. And
How'd you come up with that video?
it was a real story. I wasn't memeing. I wasn't
Really?
yeah,
I
no.
thought you were just making that up.
No, I had a chord progression forever, and it's a really common chord progression, I realize now, but back then I was 19 and I made this video in college, and I was like, I want to tell the story about how one day I was playing this chord progression that I've been playing for years. Every pianist can relate to this. I think you go down, you sit down at the piano, and you play the thing that you know or the thing that you wrote just everywhere you go. It's like the first thing you sit down and play because you're expecting someone to be like, oh, what is that? And they'll be like, oh, it's something I wrote, like whatever. And so that was the thing that I did for a long time. And then I realized it was the Office theme song.
Did you realize that, or did someone point it out?
I realized it because I heard it on the TV in the living room, and I didn't watch The Office back then. I really didn't. But yeah, what's funny about that is that truly was an accident. And then I did my new series, when you accidentally write songs that already exist. So now I'm like purposefully doing it. But back then that was truly an accident.
So when you're making a video like that, do you reverse engineer it so you hear the song
I do
first,
now,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh, this would be a good song to make a video about, or just like a poppy song? You know,
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to like Toxic by Britney Spears, and I'll be like, how do I make that sound completely different? Or like, how can I surprise somebody or trick somebody into listening to this and going like, oh, that's cool, and be like, surprise, it's this, you know? And that's the format of the video. Those videos are really fun because they're easy to do, and they're gamified. So like the person watching like gets to, you know, guess what the next song is. I think that's a really fun like game that can be interactive, and you know.
Yeah. So what happened after that video got a ton of views? Did you realize like, wait a second, I quit my job, I could start doing this now?
So the first like Office theme song thing was me doing like that video was at 600,000 views because it was posted on Reddit and probably got 600K views in a couple of months. That's when I was stuck at 50,000 subscribers. And I was doing regular sketches. And at that point, everybody was like, just make more piano stuff. When I did my first video where I played multiple characters around the instrument, it was called When You're a Show Off, which was based on a true story, where I pretended not to know how to play the piano and then just went nuts. That getting, you know, 80,000 views in like a week or a month or something at the time was huge because I was only doing 2,000 or 3,000 views. So what I did was I followed the data and I replicated that type of video. And within a couple of months, I was getting some sponsorship offers and stuff. I did an affiliate marketing deal with this company that still to this day pays like $1,000 or $2,000 a month. But back then that was as much as I made in the coffee shop.
From the same video?
Sure.
Yeah. From like, you know, just
Who's the affiliate?
Flowkey.
Flowkey?
Yeah, it's a piano learning software.
Huh. Seems like a perfect affiliate.
It was perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's you know, and it's been a very long relationship with them, and I still, you know, I do sponsors with them still. They were my first ever. They're the reason why I was able to leave my coffee shop job. But when I did that, and then suddenly I'm making as much money on my side gig as I am my coffee shop job, I only made $1,600 a month.
Which coffee shop was it?
Tiago on Hollywood and La Brea.
Okay.
And I love them. I love them so much. The jumping point was I got like a brand deal. I think it was like $3,000 or $4,000 for like NordVPN or Audible or something like that. And it was my first sponsor. Mm-hmm. And when I was like, oh, I'm making now double on my side job as I am in my main job.
Yep.
That's when I had to go to my boss and be like, I think I gotta quit. Like, I'm sorry. I think I have to go. Because then they locked in a second sponsor a month later. I was like, I'm good for the next 6 months. I now have to, you know, and my boss was like, okay. And then I said, what happens if I'm terrified. Like, what happens if I don't make it? And he goes, well, you just come back.
That's nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, and his like ability to do, shout out to Santiago, Tiago Coffee Shop on the corner of Hollywood and La Brea. It's his coffee shop. Yeah. He's the owner.
That's cool.
And I love that place to death, and their food is really good, and their coffee's really strong.
If you use the code Thrasher, 50% off your first coffee.
Don't tell him that because he'll tell you no. But
what did your parents think about this whole thing?
My dad didn't understand it. My mom, you know, they were supportive-ish. But it wasn't until a cousin of mine who did not know that he was related to me, freaked out around my dad around Christmas time. Mm-hmm. My stepsisters were passing around a phone with like a new video of mine, and my cousin was coming down the stairs, and he was like, "Oh, I know that guy. That's, you know, like that's the funny piano guy." And they were like, "That's our brother." He was like, "What?" And my dad saw that. Back then I had 100,000 subscribers or so. My dad saw that and was like, "Oh, maybe my son is a," you know, maybe something's happening. It's when your relatives, it's one of two things. It's when they see people freak out about you that they go, "Oh, okay, he's a thing." Or it's when they see the money.
Is acting kind of similar to being a professional musician where you have to continually practice music to improve your skills? Like, what does practicing acting look like if you have to do that?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think, yes, you do have to practice it. It's a couple of things. One, it's being comfortable when somebody like calls action and you hear the boop, boop, you know, on the camera, like, and just being able to be all in. So yeah, that's a skill you have to keep going. Otherwise you get like anxious if you don't do it for a while. But I think in my job, like doing sketch comedy opposite myself gives me a huge opportunity to keep doing that, you know? And I have a team now that films me and I watch the edits and stuff. So I feel very confident and like that I'm still practicing, you know, but I do have an acting coach as well.
Hey, what does that look like to practice something like that? Like, does he give you some sort of script and he's like, okay, in this scene,
you're
gonna have to, yeah.
Well, I mean, I still audition as an actor out here in LA. So like, I'll get an audition every once in a while. And I haven't been coached in a minute because I'm very like up to speed in terms of like knowing how to sell a joke and stuff, just from my own creative process.
So you think that's enough practice right now? Just like
right now, yeah, because I would say so, yeah, because I write the script and I analyze it and I think, how am I going to play this? And then I do it, and then off the feedback on the audience, whether the video does well or not, I sort of am able to see like, okay, did I do well enough or whatever? And it's just a matter of like being very confident with the material and understanding it deeply. So like, if you get a script and you don't fully understand it and you fake it, you're a bad actor. Like if there's a word in a script, like let's say you have to say the word like, stop being so obsequious, and you don't know what the word obsequious means, and you say it without knowing what it means, chances are you're not a strong actor. You have to like understand the intention behind what you're saying, why you're saying it, what every single word means, and what you're being told as well.
And do you break out like the actual acting skills as though you would be doing a big production in your YouTube videos, or is it a different sort of like YouTube acting?
On the good ones, I do.
So like,
so on the videos that perform the best, those are the ones that I actually am working on. And like, I think the last time I did like proper like actor work on a script was The Kid Who Could Do This Is Dead Now, is a video that I shot in a church. Did 1 million views. It did well, but I think it did well because I actually like sat down and like did actor work on it, and like developed characters and stuff. But no, I think I'm just like so instinctive in the characters that I've created and have played for so long that it's much faster and instinctive.
That's interesting. You know, Graham's actually a pretty good actor. I'm not gonna lie. Like, sometimes he can put on a face while we're filming, and he can like definitely get intense at times. I am, on the other hand, a terrible,
really? Give me an example
terrible
of that.
Of you?
Yeah. I like to play jokes, but I start laughing.
Dang.
No, you start laughing if I start laughing. You're good. You get mad at me because I'll laugh and then you'll laugh and then we'll ruin the scene.
Yeah, like even today, I called Jack 10 minutes before I got here. I'm like, hey man, we can't film here. They're not letting us in. They're telling us to leave.
Yeah, but that is the worst joke ever because like, why would Eric kick us out? Like, he's
really
a good
funny.
friend of ours. Yeah,
just like a stressful like.
Yeah,
like
he pulls a lot of those jokes on me.
Or he shows up and like the guest just canceled.
Oh man.
Yeah, drove all the way here. They canceled.
See, I usually believe it at first, and then I think about it. I'm like, okay, that doesn't actually make sense. So your acting is good. It's just the joke itself.
I could probably improve on that.
Yeah, you just need a writer's room.
Yeah.
That's all you need to just pitch you practical jokes all day.
My favorite though is to hide behind a door and then film. And then when they come over, I'll be bah, and just pop out.
I like that a lot.
Give people scares.
That's very cute.
I love that.
That's very cute.
You got me.
I think I've seen videos of like puppies doing that with their owners. Like that's very cute. Like that's very sweet.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you're gonna be such a cool dad.
Oh my gosh, it'll probably be terrible.
You think?
Yeah, because I love like the scaring. I love the scare. Control. No, I love the scaring aspect. Like I put on a mask.
Yeah,
just to get a reaction.
He wants to horrify people. He doesn't want it to be like a joke. So let's continue with the story.
Yeah,
let's. In West Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
Sorry. Which story? Where was I? What were we talking about?
Were we talking about like you're finally becoming financially stable with this, and you drop, you quit your job?
Yeah, I was able to quit my day job. My boss was super cool with it, and then I started getting sponsors every month. Every sponsor I've ever worked with has renewed at an increase.
Every sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah, it just kept going up and up and up. And then I got to a townhouse. I was like, okay, well, I'm making a lot of content, but at the time I was sharing a tiny little, 1,000 square foot apartment in Hollywood with 2 other people. And, rent was cheap. It was $800 a month on my end, but suddenly I was making like, way more money. And I was like, I need to isolate myself, because the last sketch that I shot in that apartment, there were 4 helicopters above my apartment, like ruining the sound. And I was like, I gotta go. Like I had my digital piano in my bedroom. My editing desk was in my bedroom. My bed was in my bedroom, and so I was shooting all my videos in my bedroom until I had like 500,000 subs, 600, 700, like it was all, maybe more. But when I left, I actually got this townhouse, a 3-story townhouse that I was renting in Eagle Rock. And it was a really cool spot, but it's very quiet and very isolated. And I moved there intentionally because it was quiet in a quiet neighborhood. In February of 2020.
Wow.
So
jeez, okay.
I was looking up articles before I moved to that townhouse about isolation and creativity. Because I saw a Bo Burnham special where he talked about, like, at the top of the special, he'll be like, Bo isolated himself for 5 years to focus on his comedy. And I was like, I think I want to do that. And there's a book called The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle that talks about Ray LaMontagne, the singer, who pretty much locked himself up in a house for like 6 months to a year with nothing but like old Ray Charles albums and Otis Redding albums. And he like became this crazy musician. So I sort of fantasized about isolating myself and like going crazy for YouTube. And so I got this really quiet 3-story townhouse in Eagle Rock. And then the pandemic happened in March of 2020. And what was elective isolation turned into forced isolation. And so I got kind of agoraphobic after a while. But aside from that, I had really good content for a long time. That's how the Accidentally series happened.
So
and
when you were isolating, were you like not talking to people, or were you not going outside? Like, how did that work?
I mean, when you're in a tiny apartment with 2 other people and you walk to the grocery store and everything's close by, I walk to the coffee shop, I walk to the gym, blah, 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 in Hollywood, versus everything is a 5-minute drive. Even going to Starbucks would be like a 5-minute drive. The grocery store was like 10 minutes away. For me, that was very isolating. And back then I would deliver groceries through Amazon Fresh and stuff. So I was just very, very isolated and crazy. And when I hired my assistant, at the time, my first hire ever, Lee, that's when I started chipping out of the isolation a little bit. But yeah, no, it's pretty wild.
What was your work schedule like?
My work schedule was like, I would try to write in the morning from 10 to 2 p.m. and then I would try to shoot from 3 to 5. So I would give myself 4 hours to write the script and 2 hours to shoot it. And then the next day I would try to edit the whole thing in 8 hours. But those were when my videos were a lot shorter. They're a little bit longer now, but that wasn't sustainable because when I was completely by myself before I got my assistant, the reason when I asked Lee to join the team, it was because I was like, I have 1 week left in this month. I have 4 sponsors and 4 videos to make. So I had nothing done. I have ADHD really bad. which is why I drink cold brew all the time. I feel like it medicates me. Shout out Bankroll Coffee Co, baby.
Bankrollcoffee.com.
This is from my house, by the way. I brought this. He didn't tell me to bring this. He was surprised I brought this.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm like, wait, what? That's so crazy. That's so cool you brought it.
Yeah, he sent me like a gift basket kind of a thing of all of his stuff, and
cool.
It's so I love this thing too because the straw doesn't fall out.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, get these. They're so good. Even for drinking water, it's great.
Yeah. Bankrollcoffee.com.
Yeah, gotta always be plugging. So I was really procrastinating, and I was a horrible employee to myself, and then that's when I started outsourcing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild.
What did your first assistant do? Like, what was part of the job description?
Everything, man. Yeah? Everything. He was a writer himself. Lee is very talented. He's a writer. He's a voice actor. He's very funny. And so he would help me write scripts. He would help me generate ideas. He would also help like clean up the house with me. He would help give me feedback on my editing. Like, does this joke land? Does that land? He was just an all-around dude,
Was he just Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5 type deal, or was it more like
at the time? I think it was 4 days a week: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Because I realized I wanted Wednesdays off and Saturday, Sundays off. But it took a long time for me to. Now I have a team of 6 people, 7-ish if you include. I had an intern for a second, which was cool. But and those are full-time employees. Those don't count like the people from Mythical and like my brand manager and stuff like that. So now I actually feel like I have a work-life balance, but it took me years to find a good work-life balance.
I hear 7 people. I'm like, what do they all do?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah, I can tell you.
Okay, let's hear. Yeah.
So I have a production manager, Jackie. She's great.
And what does she do?
So I'll just outline the titles. So I have a production manager, an assistant, a creative producer, 2 editors, a videographer.
Okay.
So that's the 6. That's the main 6. And so Jackie, my production manager, she goes through and she schedules everybody to do everything, and she'll check in with the editors. She'll be like, where are we on this? Where are we on that? And she talks to my brand manager. She's like, when do you need these deadlines by? And it's so frequent. It's so many phone calls, and I'm horrible. Like ever since I was a kid, my teachers would be like, he's terrible with time management. I need somebody who's really good at it to be, and we flew her out we found her in Orlando. We flew her out from Orlando. She lives in LA now. She's fantastic. I would be, horrible. Like she's been such a great addition to the team. So she makes everything easy. Lee, my assistant, he does a lot of assistant stuff, but he also does a lot of creative stuff. So right now he's sort of helping, I'm going to drop merch pretty soon. I've never dropped merch ever. I have a collective audience of over 5 million people now, and I've never done a solid merch run.
Sure.
So he's helping streamline that with he's helping hire graphic artists for that, and there's another side project that he's doing, and also stuff like talking to the housekeepers to come by the house and make sure it's clean, because if it's dirty then I can't think, and I'm not just all kinds of, he's like kind of a house manager also. Okay. Like we had solar panels installed. I can't keep getting on the phone with the electric company, just stuff like that. He handles that. Jackie handles doing everything employee related. My creative producer, Scott, helps generate ideas, and he'll sometimes write a first draft of a script, and then I'll go through and talk to him about it. And he gives notes on all the videos. My pipeline right now is don't show me anything until it's the very best version you think is possible. And then I will give you notes on it. But until then, I don't want to hear anything until it's done, because I have really bad attention problems.
See, but the thing is, it's I put myself in that position, and I think if I were responsible for writing scripts and stuff like that, I feel like I could do 3 a day, you know what I mean? But then I look at your video output and it's what is it at? One a week?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you just extremely selective? Does he present you with a ton of ideas and you just pick one of 50 a week or something?
Yeah. On my phone, I have and also my scripts are highly scripted, setup, punchline, setup, punchline, setup. It's jokes to me are like math. You know what I mean? Or music. It has to sound just right. It has to, one word too many will ruin a joke. And not that my stuff is heady or anything, but just to get a good laugh out of somebody, it's got to be clean. It's got to be perfect. Anyway, but I have a.
Can you show us some examples of like
this is it's 1,000 video ideas.
What? Can I just take a look?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we read off a video idea? One random one?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. 573. Straightening my hair and making a sketch about it. Explain at top that quarantine has made your hair hella long and there's nothing you could do about it. So now you want to straighten your hair, see what it looks like, and make a sketch based on the character you come up with.
And I did make a sketch based on that character. His name was Bryler, and that video got a couple million views.
Wait, so why 1,000? Is this just like what you built up over time?
Yeah. So anytime I have an idea.
I love this one. 827, when you change an instrument and it changes your whole personality. Did you do that one?
That's actually really
I never made that one. I should.
You should.
You think so?
Oh my gosh.
That's a really good one.
You could do so much with that.
That's a banger.
From like the saxophone and like being really good at math, let's just say, and playing the tuba and be like, oh, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. I'm gonna go there.
That's
the
perfect.
Guitar and like have like 5 women just like pandering.
Yeah, that's great.
The drummer talking over everybody.
Yeah. So
the bass player alone in the corner. Like, dude, you could do so much with that.
I'm cool. All right.
That's a great idea.
I love that idea.
All right.
Hold on, let's pick one more. All
right.
That was my favorite one so far.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, you have more than 1,000.
Yeah. And this is just mine. I have a team of people who have ideas on separate platforms as well, like on Google Docs.
The law school Amber Heard's lawyer one too.
That's pretty obvious why I didn't make that, because everybody was making that.
Yeah. When you suck at setting boundaries. I mean, there were some really. I love the instrument changing personality.
Yeah,
because I feel like everybody who plays an instrument is going to want to watch to see what's my personality. What do I do?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think for me, like my big thing with my team also, like when we're brainstorming ideas, is get even the horrible ones, write them down. Because there's a reason why you thought of the horrible one, you know, like just write your worst ideas down. And I bet you can't have 50 terrible ideas in a row. I bet you can't. One of them is accidentally going to be pretty good, and then build on top of that. You know, I challenge you to write 50 horrible ideas back to back, because one of them is going to be amazing. That's my creative process.
So how's your schedule different now than it was back then?
Oh, it's so much better.
Like how much were you working back then versus today?
Back then I was killing myself.
Yeah.
I was working until I would forget to eat, and I would be nauseous because I forgot to eat. Like, it was horrible. Now that I have 2.5 editors, my videographer is a flex PA type situation. How's the schedule different? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Like how many hours are you working? How many days?
So we do a different thing now. Like shout out to Mythical, Good Mythical Morning, Mythical Entertainment. They invested in me and helped guide me to like create a better work-life balance. And like part of that was hiring my production manager, and I don't know if this is secret sauce or not. I don't think it is, but they want me to do batch shooting. So like it'll be 3 weeks of prep and then 1 week of shooting. So I only have to pulling out the camera gear and then putting it away every single day was more taxing than I thought it was, I guess. So if we have 3 weeks of prep, then we could really comb through the scripts and comb through the music and make it perfect. So that way when we shoot, we're much more efficient. And then, you know, we'll come out with like 5 videos in that week, and then I hand it off to the editors, and then they do that. And then I have 3 weeks of prep / reviewing edits from the last month. So that's my new schedule.
So if you film for 1 week and you get 5 videos out of that, it's like 1 video per day?
Yeah, for that week, yeah. But what we do is on Monday, we shoot all the ads. I probably have about 4 ads a month. So I'll shoot all my advertisements on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we have a long time to focus on the script in the morning, and then shoot the main video Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's...
But your videos are like 3-4 minutes long. So that's like...
I'm very particular.
Many takes of each?
Yeah, I'm really, really particular about it. Yeah. A 2-minute video is probably 2.5 hours of footage.
Really?
Yeah.
See, for me, I would film for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours for a 15-minute video.
That's insane.
But maybe I'm just not as picky. Or do you ever mispronounce words or
no? No, it's just a matter of like, okay, because it's all me, right? I'm not interacting with somebody else. Yeah. It's all me going like, okay, how did I say that? And like, because let's say I do a take seven different ways, the following take of the next character has to make sense. It has to seem. I'm very proud that my videos seem conversational and get a lot of comments that say like, I forget that it's the same guy.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I try to map out the funniest way to present something from this direction, and then how would a human actually respond visually, you know, like listening to someone say something. Like, you need a listening take. You need like a, you know, I call it a what take. I always have a what take in a video. Like, what? Like, you know, if somebody says something ridiculous and you got to catch it, and also you got to figure out where they're standing in relation to the camera and all this stuff. It's like, it's very like in depth to make it believable. The number one thing I tell my editors when they're going through is like, bare minimum, like the script does all the heavy lifting of the jokes, but in the performance, minimum, it needs to be believable and it needs to be intelligible. Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear the setup to the joke? Can you hear the punchline of the joke? And does it seem like two people are actually having a conversation? Outside of that, the script does all the heavy lifting.
So I take it you just sit in the same spot or stand in the same spot, go through all of those scenes in that one take, and then move to the different one and then enter. Okay.
So each character is about a 30-minute take. So Daniel's sitting at the piano. Daniel's my like straight man character, wears this black V-neck usually, sitting at the piano. That'll take 30 minutes, or it'll take an hour and a half if I have to play piano, because then I'm also really particular about how I sound on the keys. Piano videos always take much longer, but they get more views generally. Not anymore, but anyway. But yeah, it takes a long time. So I'll do one rolling take for half an hour, where I'll just go through the first line. I'll scrub through that 5 times. I'll go through the next line about 5 times. I'll go through the next next line, and I just methodically go through the whole thing. It's probably my editor might just be pulling the first take of each, and then I go back and be like, there's a better take in there. So maybe there's a better way for me to do that. But you know, what would probably be easier for me is if I actually look at the script, because like I just write it until it's done and then I shoot it. What would be easier is if I did actor work, like actor prep work, and sat down and circled lines and wrote about it and stuff, then it would be a much more efficient shooting time. But now that I bought a Red camera, which is oodles and oodles of data, like terabytes of data for minutes of footage, essentially. I should be more particular about doing prep work, so that way we don't waste rolling time.
Yeah, here I am thinking like, oh, these are such easy videos to make. That's 3 minutes. It's like, why do you need so many people? I would just sit there and like bang out a video a day, like so easily.
I probably could. If I were, and I probably should, But I'm so, you know, I really like where I'm heading now. I think the direction that I'm going is strong, and I think people can tell that I'm, like for example, I made a video spoofing Hamilton, and like that video, it's called How Lin-Manuel Miranda Orders a Pizza. And that was the first video I shot on a Red. And like, I rented out a theater, I hired 4 other actors, I choreographed them just to help me do an imitation of Lin-Manuel Miranda ordering a pizza on the phone. And I like taking stupidity so seriously. I think it's great.
I will say I didn't know who that was.
Really?
And that deterred me from watching the video.
Okay, that's cool.
But part of it was like I saw the title, I'm like, I don't know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is. But it's also kind of funny that I don't know who he is, but it's like such a
He's the guy who wrote Hamilton.
Okay, yeah. I don't know.
So Hamilton's like huge, you know, it's a big Broadway thing. Anyway, but those who do like saw it and were like, what the hell? Like, you know, but I really like where I'm going. And so I bought the Red camera because I wanted to be able to have like a weapon if I needed it. You know, I think of everything as a tool to tell jokes with. You know on SpongeBob where like it's just the regular animation, and then suddenly they have extreme close-up of Squidward's nose, and like
so detailed.
Yeah,
you like the handsome Squidward.
Yeah, and that's kind of why. And that's kind of why I got the Red camera.
That would be funny.
Is because like you know, sometimes to punctuate a joke, to just make it look like real life, it's like, whoa, now I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm like looking at it from a different angle. You know, I just want to have like a tool belt, just a big old tool belt to tell jokes with.
How much was that camera?
$40,000.
$40,000? A car.
Yeah. I bought it.
Could you not get like 98% of the same thing with a $3,000 camera?
Yeah, I mean, my Canon R5 is like an amazing camera. Shoots in 8K also. The average person can't tell the difference, but if I want to be able to submit to like Netflix one day, like I want to be able to have that in-house. My dream is to just rent like a house in the middle of nowhere, take my whole team with me, maybe a makeup person, a sound person, and a lighting person, and do something that's an hour long and just make it crazy. Like what's up with me in isolation? Like, but I really want to like just make something with that Red camera and just sell it somewhere. Just put it on like HBO or like, you know, I'm so like excited by the idea that I can make something that could theoretically play in IMAX because the camera is so ridiculous, you know? That's just really exciting to me. It's inspiring. I think, you know, if you get gear that like inspires you to think outside the box and like do something that pushes you, that's cool. But if you're getting gear because everybody else has it, like these like tech YouTubers who like all have the same like neon backdrop and the same like, you know, like stick around or like
the same dinosaur skull.
Let's jump right into it. You know, like
what's up, you guys?
Like who says smash that like button? Like what a loser
for the algorithm.
But no, I'm really stoked with like this like sort of machine that I'm building now. And that's why I'm also excited about, I just finally got approved for monetization on Facebook, which is so sick. And I think of money now as like, who can I hire with this to help me tell better jokes and to like help me make better content? Cause the goal again, at the end of the day is to like make people feel a little bit easier. And also I get to drive a Mercedes, so that's nice too. Like,
that's your daily driver, Mercedes?
Yeah.
What kind?
E450 coupe. I like it a lot.
How did Good Mythical Morning happen?
You know, Link reached out to me on Twitter. I guess his daughter's a big fan, and she showed him one of my videos, and he's like, hey, let's have a meeting. And I was like, okay, sure. You know, I thought he wanted me to like guest star on like an episode of Good Mythical Morning, because they just did that with my friend Charles Cornell, who's a jazz pianist. He's very funny. I was like, oh, cool. I think I might be on Good Mythical Morning. But that's not what the meeting was. It was him and Rhett sitting on Zoom opposite me and my assistant Lee. And Link goes, what do you want to do? And I was like, you mean like in a video or like, he's like, no, just with your career, what do you want? And I was like, oh, you know, I was like, well, I sort of am modeling my career after this person and that person, and I want to do this and I want to do that thing, and I'm working on this and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, great. You know, and then this was a year and a half ago. This was a long time ago. And they developed this like creator accelerator program. I'm only one of 2 people who are in it, and I'm fairly sure I was the first guy they came to. But it's like this really awesome mentorship thing where they're just showing me like what works for them, and they're guiding me in the right direction to like, they basically said like, you know, it seems like you don't have a strong work-life balance right now. I was like, I don't. And they're like, we know how to, they're engineers. They went to engineering school together. So they sort of created this machine of content creation that's automated and still very good to where they're able to have a life, you know? And I think the thing about being a YouTuber is it is very stressful, and you will burn out if you're not careful. Like if you're not outsourcing at all and you think you have to do everything yourself, you're gonna burn out for sure. It's just a matter of time. And so now that I have a team of 6 to help like catch the net, it's great. It's so much better now.
So how does it work with them? Do they own a percentage of the channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they own a percentage in exchange for like cash. And then I use that cash in specific ways, hiring people, giving my current employees a raise is part of that, which is great. They encouraged me to give my employees raises. Not that I was against it. It was just like, I
was highly against it. Yeah.
It was just, I didn't know the rate. Like I didn't know the going rate, and they helped me schedule and give people proper titles and like incorporate well and like, you know, tax stuff and all this. And like,
was that like them? Or was that some part of their team or someone on their team that was helping you through that process?
It was, so they have a rep who I talk to every week, and then I talk to them at least quarterly, and I'll have like lunches with them and stuff. So everybody knows what everybody else is doing. it's amazing. It's really great. And so they sort of like, and their rep talks to them as well as the you know, producers with Mythical to be like, what do you think about this? What do you think, you know? And so I get the whole sounding board of like this 100 plus team who's been doing this for years to help me hire somebody. Like to help me like figure out what's the going rate for this? What's the, you know, what should I call this person? Like, how do I do this? Basically, we're getting to a place to where I can just go, I want, you know, a book. I want to write a book. And then they'll go, okay, this is what you do. You know, go ahead and write it. And then we'll send it over here. I'm like, sweet. It's great. It's really nice. I want merch. And then they'll go out and try several different merch providers, or whatever you call that, merchandisers.
Merchandisers.
Merchants.
The merchant. I like merchants.
Yeah. You know, it's really nice because I'd been doing it by myself for so long. Now I actually feel like I can relax a little bit. Yeah. I'm approaching 30. Like one day I would like to have a family and in every other relationship I've ever had, it's always been a problem that I'm working all the time. Like on Thanksgiving Day, even familial relationships. Like if on Thanksgiving Day for the past like several Thanksgivings, I've been editing on Thanksgiving, thinking like if I make just this right video about this turkey, like then I'll get 1 million views and everyone will love me. And like that's not, you know, we're crazy. Like don't date a YouTuber, please. Like, you know, don't unless they have a team. You know, like Graham and I are fine, but don't go for either of us. But you know, it's insane. Like it's crazy. But I'm very grateful that now I can relax a little bit. I think I answered a question. I don't know if I did or not.
I think that was the question. Now, what happens if you went for them and then a month later you're like, it's not working out, or like 6 months in and you want to back out of the deal? Was there a clause in there that allowed you to do that if it wasn't a good fit for you?
I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. Yeah. I do know that I felt very safe to take the risk. Got it. And there was like some protective provisions to where it was only a win-win, which is great.
Can we talk a little bit about finances?
Sure, let's talk about finances.
Because I notice at the end of almost every single one of your videos, you have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Right. That's like what, 85% of your videos, 90 at this point?
Probably 99.
That's impressive.
I've only in the past 2 or 3 years, only 2 videos have not been sponsored.
So you must be, you know, pulling in a little bit.
I'm doing all right.
Some gravy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm very fortunate, and I found a way to have a sponsor in every video without it being annoying.
Yeah, you have the skit after skit.
Yeah, and now for the sketch after the sketch that happens to be paid for. Yeah, and like I only have, you know, my videos are only 3 minutes long, so chances are most people are going to be there at least at the start of the ad. You know,
that's true.
And so. Yeah, and brands have been really, really responsive to that, and they like that a lot, and I like that they like that.
Yeah. How much of that are you saving?
Well, now that my overhead is so much, I mean, I don't know. My overhead's pretty high now. I think just to maintain everything, like my house and my employees and stuff, is probably like $30,000 a month just to operate. And stay afloat. So I have to do more than that a month to profit.
Sure.
And then, also I buy stupid stuff a lot. I mean, now I do. Now I do.
Okay. All right.
It took me a while, but now I'm like, these shoes are $1,000.
Wait, no. Are you serious? You're kidding me. Did you actually buy $1,000 shoes?
I've only done that twice in my whole life.
What shoes?
The Montclair shoes. And I bought them for a red carpet event, so they're tax write-off. Okay, you have a dinosaur skull in your head.
It's a replica. Yeah. It's a replica, and
that
I bought
does
it.
Not help.
I bought it. The first one I bought from Wayfair, and then I found a cheaper version. I think at Walmart. Seriously,
it's Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. Yeah.
Walmart?
So I did a reverse image search.
Oh my god!
Because Wayfair stopped selling that exact dinosaur skull and sold something slightly different. So I reversed image searched the first dinosaur skull and went back through my email, found it. and then found that I think it was Walmart that sold the exact same thing, but it was even cheaper.
Yeah.
So they all outsource from the same spot.
You know what I will say though, like this whole idea of like spending to like present yourself a certain way or whatever. I will say this is like a real thing. Like me driving my car, my Mercedes, right? It's a lease. It probably costs, you know, $1,500 a month with insurance and the lease.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean combined, you know.
Yeah.
Probably maybe less.
Okay.
I think it is less. I think it's 13 or something, or 12. Anyway, but like the whole thing about like driving to an audition or driving to meet an executive, I think in a subliminal way, it would instill just a little bit more confidence, being like, that guy seems confident and like powerful and like, you know, I know that's so shallow, but I live in LA. You know what I mean? Like
it's an LA thing.
It really is. Like if you live in any other town, like Florida, nobody cares, dude. You know, like, but in LA, if you're meeting with like an executive of like a major network and you show up in like a 2001 Honda Civic where it leaks when it rains, my old car, like right before I got this one, you know, then they're going to be like, I don't know, can we like trust this guy? Like it's very silly. It's very silly, but you do have to play those like
I noticed that
games.
as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I was driving a Prius for the longest time.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, Jason Oppenheim would let me drive his Aston Martin, and he had the Vanquish. And so if he wasn't
Those
driving,
are like $200,000 cars, right?
more.
They're handmade, aren't they?
The MSRP of that car, I think, was like $350 or something crazy like that. But half the day he wasn't driving the car, and so if I had a showing, I would just take his car. And I noticed a huge difference when I pull up in that car versus the Prius.
Yeah, man.
It could be the same client, but when you show up to a really expensive house, all of a sudden people took me a lot more seriously.
That's real.
Yeah.
When I was buying houses, when I was looking for the house that I bought, like not buying multiple houses,
when I was buying houses,
like when I was shopping for houses, I noticed that, you know, well, I mean, I hadn't had the alternative in my old Honda, but like if I pull up in a Mercedes, like, and I walk out, they're going to show me the house. They're going to like walk with me and look around and treat me like a serious dude. Cause I'm a goofy guy who looks like I'm 20 something. Oh, well, I am 20 something, but looks like I'm
29.
Looks like I'm 21. Like, you know, I look like a scrawny kid, you know, who's just geeking around. And, but if they see me pull up in this thing, then they're like, okay, let me give you my card. Let's talk about it. You know, I will tell you how many offers we got on this thing. I will tell you, you know. It's a weird game. Like, it's weird.
That's true.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about the house you bought? I don't know if you want to discuss that.
Yeah. I bought a house from a guy who was in very famous commercials. And I bought his house. That was really cool.
Did you know it was his house going into it?
Yeah.
Did that make you want to buy it?
Yeah.
Did it actually?
Well, because what's interesting is like advertiser money bought that house for him, and advertiser money bought that house for me. And what's really funny about it is like after it's Isaiah Mustafa. It's the guy who like was the Old Spice guy who's like, look at your man, now back to me, now back at your man, now back to me. I bought his house from him, like, which is so sick. And like in the guest bathroom, somebody left behind 2 Old Spice body washes underneath the sink, and so I have them on display in that bathroom now. But his house is sexy, like it's so cool.
It's a really neat house.
I barely had to do anything with it, and like it's such a beautiful house, and I'm so grateful. But like it's a fun story too. Like it's just cool to have like this guy's house. Like,
you ever meet him or no?
No, but he follows me on Instagram, which is cool.
Nice. Why didn't you get to meet him? You would think that usually once all contingencies are removed, you go through a final walkthrough and the seller's there to like greet you.
I think he's just busy.
Really?
And also he didn't know who I was at the time. Okay. Like if I, you know, I would not want to sell anything to a geeky YouTuber. Like no way. Like, you know,
he sees your offers like, no, not that
If
one.
I was like an Emmy award winning actor, like no, you know, but he's a big movie star now.
Where did he move to? Do you know?
I don't know. Someplace where he could have land. I think he has like horses now or something. I'm not sure.
Wasn't there an ad of him as a horse though?
Oh no, on a horse.
On a horse.
Yeah.
So now
I remember that. Yeah, that is something I do remember. Yeah.
I'm on a horse. Okay.
Yeah.
Your tickets are now diamonds. Yeah. That's so cool, man. Because that's a funny ad, and like that was inspiration for me to start making my sketches after the sketch, like funny ads that aren't just an ad read on a teleprompter. It's more so like, you know, I'm like, how do I make this interesting? And my brother and I, my brother Dylan and I, when we were kids, we would play this game called Sell This or whatever, and so we would pull out like a Coke and we would make like goofy jokes about Coca-Cola and try to figure out like how would we sell this to people? And so now I do that for a living. That's how I make a majority of my money.
That's really cool. How long do you expect to keep this house for?
I want to keep it as long as I can. I want to use it as a rental. If I book this thing that I'm currently running for, I'll be away from the house for a while. But I have employees, so you can't rob me, haha. But like, I would keep it and maybe rent it out as an Airbnb or do long-term rental, because I want to hold on to it. I really love where it is and just what it is.
Got it. I got a random offbeat question, but why didn't you stretch out your videos to 8 minutes to throw in mid-roll ads? Because all of your videos are very, very short. Comedy
is all about trimming the fat. If you add too much fat, like SNL sketches, the ones that aren't funny are because they went on too long. You know? And I'd rather tell stronger, punchier jokes. Like even 3 minutes for me is pushing it. You know, it's hard to keep somebody's attention, especially with TikTok now. Yeah. They get the funniest thing in less than 60 seconds. That's why on the videos where I do go past 8 minutes, I do get double ad rev, but a lion's share of my income, most of my income is from sponsors. So it doesn't really matter as much.
Can you allocate some percentages to where your income's coming from?
I would say 75% of my income is from sponsors.
And then 25 is ad
25
revenue.
is ad revenue, yeah.
And you have no other sources of income?
No. I mean,
all on YouTube.
Because I don't do merch.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
But that's where Mythical comes in. They're helping me turn on all the faucets. And last week, I just got monetized on Facebook. And just in a week on Facebook, I'm already paying for one of my employees full time.
That's incredible.
Just in 1 week.
You know why? Because your videos are so short,
Yeah, they're great
and
for
they
Facebook.
apply to anybody. I remember for the first 6 months, I started posting videos on Facebook, and I was paying a company out of pocket to post these videos.
Yep.
And they take what's already on the channel, but condense it down, add subtitles. So they take a 10-minute video, take it down to like 5-6 minutes, and it bombed.
Wow.
The finance videos, because it's only US based, English speaking, and a very narrow focus on Facebook.
Very niche, yeah.
Where Facebook content tends to be global.
Yeah.
So your content is perfect, way better than mine is for Facebook.
I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. And I hope to continue growing on Facebook. I've heard from several creators saying that Facebook ad revenue is higher than YouTube ad rev. So if I can do that, then suddenly I'm paying for all my employees just within Facebook, and then merch comes in, and then, you know, if I do a book or whatever, tour again, then all of that sort of will pay for like cooler projects. I could rent out locations and like get a crew.
Can you talk to us about your thoughts on potentially maybe doing Creator Clash?
Yes. I may or may not be involved in that. But there's a lot of things on my plate right now to where I don't know if I am even able to. But I thought about it, and I did do boxing lessons for a bit. When I toured just now, my shoulder tore up just from me carrying around a keyboard. So it's probably not the best move anyway.
That's convenient.
Which is so, I know. But we talked about it when you came over to my house. We talked about this.
I told you to do it, but you had to be dedicated to it.
Yeah. And like, we'll see. I don't know. If I end up doing it, cool. If I don't, also cool. Like, but it would be fun. And also it's in my hometown. It's in Florida. Like I was supposed to be there to watch your fight at the Youngling Center, right? And I'm from St. Pete, Florida, which is right next to Tampa. And, you know, and I hung out with Moist Critical just a couple weeks before that happened anyway. But I was asked to host the commencement address at my college that same week.
Oh, okay.
So, but that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. I got to introduce Amy Poehler. Like, that's sick.
That's cool.
Cool
story, bro.
Sorry.
I can't wait for the next Creator Clash though.
That'll be cool.
I'll be there.
Like I'd watch it at least.
Yeah.
Depending on where I am in the world.
I bet he'll be able to surpass the first one. It's really hard to like make it better than the first, but I think he could do it because the first one people didn't know what to expect.
That's what it is, though.
And yeah. But now the second one is going to be like, he's got to hit that second one.
I'm sure he will.
I think a lot of big creators saw the first one and they're like, wow, that was a success. I want to do it. So we can have access to higher talent.
For sure. Yeah. Shout out to him. He raised a lot of money for charity. That's great.
He'll be able to grow this into something huge. Imagine this. He could take it now every year and do a creator clash, but take it bigger and bigger and bigger and go to 15,000 people stadium, 20,000
arenas.
Yeah. And he'll be able to get better in each one.
1,000,000%, you know, and it was already a proven concept, this whole idea of like celebrity deathmatch, right? Like it's already been proven. So he just took it. He's like, this is an idea. Let me use this for good, and then make a monster.
But the crazy thing is that the Logan Paul one, the Jake Paul, had been successful, but then afterwards, what was it, the Ace family one, just seemed to bomb. It was so bad. And
but they make content
There's
for kids,
the Austin McBroom. Oh, was he an Ace Family guy?
That's the Ace Family guy. I forget what it was, where he fought Bryce Hall, and I think just no one got watched it. Nobody got paid. It was such a disaster.
Everyone illegally streamed it.
Yeah, but there was a lot of skepticism, I feel like, after that, where Ian had to overcome those obstacles of just like, that was the last perception that people had of boxing. Is like, oh yeah, Bryce Hall, Austin McBroom, nobody watched, everyone just watched.
There's a difference between like YouTubers and TikTokers though, I think. Like, Bryce Hall's mainly a TikToker, right?
Yes, but I just feel like pretty big.
Yeah, but I feel like YouTubers have like a stronger connection with their audience. I don't know. Or there's something about it. And also like Bryce Hall, like, probably appeals to a lot of like children, right? Like, like I don't know.
Oh, he's gonna call you out, man.
Whatever.
He's gonna box you.
Call me out, dog. Whatever. Like, anyway.
I don't know who his audience.
Children.
I don't know. It's like kids, right? I know.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the tour.
Sure.
So you went and played live in front of audiences?
Yeah, I did it's a really crazy interactive show that I do with a projector, and it's very planned out, and I interact with the projector, and it's very like, it's written like a play, and it's an hour 15, and there's allotted time for me to improvise with the audience and do fun stuff. Like, I have clips on Instagram doing millions of views because from me getting random words and making up songs about those random words. Like, it's sick. I love it so much. And I only did a 5-city leg, but I would like to do it again. It was insane.
What are the economics behind it? Isn't that a really high overhead? It is,
yeah. It's really high, yeah. And I went into it thinking I was going to lose money.
Yeah.
I went into it being told that I would be in the red, but I came out. I doubled every expectation they had, which is great because I would rather not be in the red. But it was very. I did not do tour for the money. I did it because I wanted to meet people and I wanted to like practice like being funny in front of an audience, to like sharpen the sword, because like if you're in that bubble of the internet and you're reading comments, you don't know. But hearing an audible laugh after a joke tells me, okay, my instincts here, I can use that in the next video and I can use this and that. And it just made me a better comedian, I guess. But when I do it again, it's a lot of overhead. But now I know, now I have the data to be like, okay, I sell to about this size house. And
how many people were showing up?
It was about 300 a venue, something like that.
Wow.
Ish, 300. But everything was like 80, 85, 90% sold out, which is good. Because there was cancellations because I had COVID. And then, people would refund and then new people would come in. But it ended up being okay. But now that I have like more of an audience on Facebook and Instagram, the challenge is like, what really sucks is people will watch my videos and go, I didn't even know you were there. Cause like, it's hard. I hate promoting.
You have to,
you have to for live stuff. And like next go around, I would rather like really focus on targeted Facebook ads for people who are likely to know who I am. Cause they don't, even like fans who have known me for years, like they're not gonna watch every video. So chances are they're not gonna watch the one video where I talk about going on tour and then they're gonna miss it and it's in their hometown, Like, so that's the big challenge that I have with touring is like.
Danny Duncan seems to put it at the very end of his videos as like a card where it says like tour dates and he puts all the dates and the cities on the end of every one of his videos when he's going on tour.
That's smart.
Yeah.
See, I kind of had something similar-ish, but I think I need to, I'll get better about that too, especially for TikTok and Instagram Reels maybe.
Yeah.
Are you pretty strict on yourself with regards to retention? So for example, if you threw that in at the end of the video, would you worry that could somehow lower the retention and hurt performance?
It would be 3 seconds or less. I am strict on it. But yeah, it would be really quick. Or you could make it a pausable moment where you just go boop and it's the card and then leave it alone. So that way maybe there's an uptick in retention for people who want to go back and gamify it and pause it. That's probably what I would end up doing next time.
It'd be funny to put in a free ticket somewhere in every video, but they have to find it. It just flashes on screen, so people have to find it and then pause it. Or they have to watch it like 0.25 speed.
Idea. Yeah.
It's on there for like an eighth of a second, and they have to find it.
That's brilliant. I might do that. Shout out to Graham for the
I would
best
try
idea
to
of all
see what
time.
happens. One free ticket per video.
That's so cool. Yeah.
And you could always pin a comment at the very top and just reiterate, hey, it's a ticket in here.
Yeah.
Got to screenshot it, type in a code, and it'll be
Pinning
emailed
comments
to you.
are so good.
Yeah.
For call to action, for like, follow me on Instagram, follow me on da-da-da. I love pinned comments, man. They're the best.
Now, why put so much emphasis on like TV or Netflix versus just doing what you're doing on YouTube? Because you could get probably just as many views on YouTube, have full control over it, make all the money, not get the, give rights away.
On all platforms, I'm doing at least 30 million views a month. So, and that's better than a lot of shows,
Yeah.
So honestly, just to meet the right people to enable me to tell better stories later. Because I look young right now, and that's great for the internet, but maybe I won't 10, 15 years from now. And I don't know how appealing that's going to be to the people on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I would like to make a movie myself. So I guess like me starring in a show or a movie would be me entering on the ground floor, which is so backwards. But that would be my way of like meeting the right people, shaking the right hands, learning how to be a showrunner, learning what it takes to create a successful work environment, and also who to hire, like gaffers and like DPs and stuff, to be able to create something fantastic. I really love how Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, used to have the #1 sketch comedy channel on YouTube. A lot of people don't know that. He had a comedy channel called Derek Comedy, which had like 160,000 subs back then. He was above Smosh, for a while. And then he was able to leverage that and get a writing job, on 30 Rock. And then he like became a star on Community. And now he created his own show on FX, Atlanta. That is a smash hit. But his trajectory was, he shook the right hands and he knew the right people to where he was able to make something substantial and respected and critically acclaimed. And so like, it's not, and me wanting to do that is not a matter of me just wanting to make something critically acclaimed. Honestly, I want to just hire more artists. Like I want to hire more actors and more people, more writers and people who are good at what they do but don't know how to monetize it. Like I want to find those people and give them jobs. That's kind of why I want to scale up versus like, doing it all myself. I could technically edit and write everything myself, but I like the idea of like, a guy who would be working as like my creative producer, his last job was doing the census, like knocking on doors.
Really?
Yeah. He's from Harvard, so he probably felt like he was doing a service to the world, and I'm sure he was, but like, now he gets to write jokes. Yeah. And
I had one of those census people come up to the house so many times.
That's probably him.
Yeah.
That's probably Scott.
I forget if I would just not be interested, but then they would just come back over and over and over and over again.
What do you have to do? Do you just sign your name on the paper?
No, it's like a survey that you fill out. They want everyone to fill it out.
It's how the government like figures out how many people are living in areas and stuff and what their income is and just getting demographics.
What's one thing you think you could do better with your current business?
I think I need to be more involved. I always feel this way, but I think I which is so ironic because I just talked about outsourcing everything, but I think like, there's one thing I could do better. Well, definitely like now that I'm improving my gear, I think I need to start really looking into like a lot of my team I sort of trained up from a base knowledge. I think the next time I hire somebody, it's going to be somebody who has way more knowledge about something than I do. Like a director of photography, like a good DP, like who knows how to light a scene, versus me buying the lighting gear and being like, what if I bounced it off the roof? That's something I could be better at, is outsourcing to people who are really strong at things.
So they pull you up rather than
pull me up rather than me training people up, if that makes sense. And merch. I'm figuring out merch. That's something I haven't really accessed yet, but I'm working on it. But in terms of content, I don't know, man. Probably title thumbnail game, probably. Because like on TikTok,
thumbnails are a bit blurry, I've noticed.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Blurry. Interesting.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel, little niche, I feel. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's extremely famous.
The thing is, that video on TikTok, 2 million views. That video on YouTube, 500,000. So definitely what's limiting me on YouTube right now is my title thumbnail.
Do you need to know who Lin-Manuel is to make it funny or no?
You tell me.
I think I don't know who that is.
I think you need to watch it. It's so stupid and ridiculous.
Got it. Okay.
That I'm really curious, actually.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yeah. It's very silly. Okay. But I'm excited to keep making really stupid, big content for no reason at all.
Generally, I found that the more generic you are and broad-based, the better the videos you're going to do. Like the instrument personality thing, anyone who's ever played an instrument would watch that video.
Interesting. Yeah.
I always try to think, at least for my titles, every word you put in distills the audience just like a little bit. So the more I can convey with fewer words, the better.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Like, let's just say like investing for beginners. Now, everyone who's not a beginner is not going to watch the video. Investing for beginners, how to start a Roth IRA. Now you've distilled it even more. Now it's like, beginners who want to invest in Roth. So I really try to make it as broad as possible. Yeah.
That's interesting. I find that when you go really specific, like I did a video called "When You Make a Tritone in Medieval Times." Well, when you hit a tritone in medieval times, that's a very specific joke.
Yes, but but everyone knows the medieval times.
Yeah.
So I'd still think it's
but not everybody knows what a tritone is. So like that video did like 7 million views or something like that. But
that to me seems a good title.
I made a super general video called "How to Play Piano," and I thought, and everybody on my comments has been asking me how to play piano. Didn't even hit 1 million.
No.
So
that could long tail though. That's probably going to do really well over a year or two.
That's probably right. That's probably right. So that's, I don't know. It's a weird game. YouTube's algorithm, I don't know if it's an algorithm thing or, I'm sure it's my bad and how I'm packaging it, but I think TikTok does such a better job at just like shotgunning content to everybody. And if it's good, it gets rewarded on TikTok much more easily than I'll know a video wasn't good if it does 400,000 views on YouTube and 400,000 views on TikTok. That's when I'm like, okay, that's where it lives, Yeah. But if a video did 400,000 views on YouTube, but 15 million on TikTok, then I'm like, it's a packaging problem.
Yeah, no, sometimes I've had videos do well on one, but not the other. Yeah. Like some do really well on YouTube, bomb on TikTok and vice versa. Yeah. I cannot find any correlation that says one will do better than the other.
That's why it's so important to be on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube, because
there's too many platforms.
I know.
I think eventually it's going to all condense down to one.
But the fact
it has to.
Yeah, Disney plus. Yeah. But if you do like a
Disney Squared.
That's really funny.
Someone will do that. They'll steal
But
that.
like the idea that you can quadruple dip content right now and earn 4x the ad revenue on it, that's something that I'm really excited to get into, so that way I can employ more people and make better stuff.
There should be a platform that aggregates all the social medias together in one.
Oh,
so
that
you
would
type
be
in
smart.
you type in Daniel Thrasher and it shows your Instagram posts, Snapchat, just
so it just shotguns it to all these different platforms.
No, just so
you're talking about it on the receiving end.
Yeah. So I'd be able to search as a user one person, but get all of their content in one page.
Wow.
Because there's so many different platforms.
It would be cool to just drag a video and title it in description, and it just puts it on every sintle platform. That would be sick. They have that already for the podcast. So we use Anchor, the streaming service, and it already puts it on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. It does everything, and I upload it to one thing. But it'd be cool with actual video content.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope we just came up with something.
That's a great idea. Mm-hmm. I hope I'm not being boring, by the way. I feel
this is great.
I feel like I'm so insane on the internet, and now I'm sitting down here. I'm like, I drive a car.
This is great. I love it.
Tell us a joke. Be funny. Make us laugh.
Okay, you ready for this one? It's a knock-knock joke. You start. Ready?
Knock, knock.
I'm not going to answer the door.
You going to get the
Who's
door,
there?
Jack?
Who's there?
What?
Knock, knock. Who's there?
This joke is just for the audience. It's not a good one.
Am I not getting the joke?
It's not a good one, yeah. This joke, yeah. Let's move on.
Is the joke over?
The joke's over.
That was the joke.
I just started weeping and all right, that was our podcast, everybody. I'm just I'm failed.
It wasn't meant to be funny.
Anything you want to bring up? Anything you want to talk about? Any topics that you feel we didn't cover? Anything you want to mention?
World peace.
What's your biggest insecurity?
What is my biggest insecurity? I feel more secure now than ever. That's a great question. I've never been asked that question before outside of romantic partners. I feel so secure right now because I have a team. I guess my biggest desire, is to be respected by my peers. You know, sincerely respected by my peers. Because there was a period of time there where I felt like comedy people thought I was using music as a crutch, and music people thought I was using comedy as a crutch. So like I was like weaseling my way in, you know? And so my biggest desire, like my hope, is to be respected by people that I also respect. And I think I'm getting there, but I'm not quite there. So maybe that's my soft spot. You know, if somebody that I really like was like, yeah, the video did well, but I don't think you're funny, you know, or whatever. Like I don't want to be labeled as like an Instagram comedian type guy who's like boing, you know, like looking at like butts and stuff. Like that's so, you know, I really hope people don't think that, because whenever I meet people, they assume that my demo is like children, and I'm like, why? You know, why do you think that? Do you not like, you know what I mean? So like maybe that's a little bit of an insecurity, but I hope to keep evolving and like get better at that.
That's cool.
So that's yeah. I'm very like lucky, great. I'm very, very grateful, and I hope to do this, at least be an entertainer for the rest of my life, and I know I will be, because I'm so incredibly careful about who I surround myself with. Having friends like you, people who are level-headed. Like I know a lot of people in the comedy world, in the music world, turn to substances and you know, vices and stuff like that, and I'm very much not that type of person. So I really am like singularly focused on entertaining people until I croak. So I'm very grateful that I'm that type of person. My parents are nurses. My mom is a nurse and my dad is a nurse. They both have worked in hospitals their whole lives. My sister's a nurse. My other sister works in a hospital. You know, like everybody in my family's in medicine, and they were very good about raising me well, and not being silly, you know? So like when I moved to LA, like there was very little concern of me like getting
caught up
stupid LA stuff.
That's good.
Clubbing.
Yeah. And I've literally been to clubs maybe twice in my entire life. Yeah. And people think I'm a crazy guy, and like, you know, they could be like, hey, it's 9 p.m. Like, you want to come meet us at this bar? No, I'm comfy in bed. Like I'm reading on my Kindle, like leave me alone. You know, like,
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good.
I have one more question.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
What's one thing everyone should do in their life, at least once?
Hit the like button.
No, don't say that.
Subscribe.
Just say follow me on Instagram. That's what they should do. But what else?
Bonus is to hit the like button and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. What's one thing everybody should do in their life?
I'd say learn an instrument.
I was kind of baiting you into answering that, but let's see like if you can answer.
I don't think that's the answer. Some people should not ever touch an instrument. One thing.
Is that a diss at Nickelback?
Dude, listen.
I'm kidding.
You listen
like
to me.
Nickelback?
My freshman year of high school, I was listening to the Dark Horse Nickelback album on repeat. I was trying to convince people like, no, this Nickelback album's really good. But that's a byproduct of me being from Florida, okay? What's something everybody should do in their lives? I think make an attempt to sincerely try for something you might fail at. Because some people live their whole lives playing in the safe zone. So I think everybody, just to be as vague as possible, but everybody in their life should make a sincere attempt at something they're afraid to do, whatever that means for you. Read the book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and that will highlight more of what I'm talking about. So I think everybody should read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
Cool. Great answer. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Nice meeting you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks for doing this.
I've met you before.
One time.
Do we make out at the end? How does this work?
That's how we end it. Yeah.
All right,
lean in.
And ready, set. We're going to turn off the cameras.
Thank you guys so much. But first, we'll get a free stock down below in the description when you sign up for
Follow me on Instagram down below.
Delicious. Make
Shout out Daniel. Check his stuff out down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
See ya.
Thanks, folks.
That was awesome. Thanks so much for doing this.
That was fun.